Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, good evening. We are on Facebook Live again. The program is hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
This is the second time we came live on Facebook today. I've got with me Dr. Aliar Hussain, researcher and program leader, Northumbria University.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Dr. Mohammed Ohidul Alam.
Yes, correct.
He is a consultant emergency medicine, Conquest Hospital, Hasting, East Sussex. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear, Alam Bhai.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. I've got with me Miss Habiba Chowdhury, owner and chef of My Curry Club, award-winning cookery school. Hi, good evening, Habiba.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And obviously our friend, Mr. Mike Markahm from HR Consultant. How are you, Mike?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you? How's your trip? Was it to the which hospitals you went to today?
Oh,
is it the Royal Free?
Royal London Hospital. Yeah, we from Volunteers Matter. We have actually given the staff some food.
Awesome.
I just came back right from there. Yes.
Well done.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. May I start with Dr. Mohammed Alam?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you please tell us the latest situation with the COVID-19, as you've just come from the front line now?
Right. Well, as we all know, the national figures, as we've been last few days, and we are in a part of this UK, which is in East Sussex, and obviously the density of population is less here, and people are sparse, and obviously the number of the cases is less here. But having said that, we have quite good few cases, in our hospital, including fatality. Anyway, this every day, those people are coming with the symptoms. They're getting in touch and coming by ambulance. Or those who are working in, they get, triage immediately in the front door.
Mr. Alam, just give me 1 second. Mike, can you just check we are okay with the live? I'm just going to text message saying that we are not live yet.
We are live. We're getting messages coming through on your live stream as well. So we are live.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Alam, please.
Yes, we get triage in the front door, I said, near the ambulance entrance, or in this walking entrance as well. They get triage immediately, and suspected cases, either paramedics, they're putting the mask and they're bringing, or we provide our nurses in the front door. Triage nurse give masks to the patient. Of course, they are having their own PPE, and they get, stream to us the red zone area. The nearly probably 60% of the A&E, including resuscitation room, we converted into the red zone, where this the doctor and nurses working with full PPE as per our national guidance, and those people are going to the green zone with not suspected. But having said that, the doctor and nurses, they are also having their standard PPE, mask, gloves, and plastic aprons to avoid. And also they're trying to make a distance between them physically. If they can't, two of the member of staff, they cannot come close enough so that the distance we can't maintain. If we can't maintain distance, if we're working side to side on one patient or one screen or one bunch of paper with blood test and other results, so they have to have a mask. We can't talk anymore like before. So in that way, and number of cases probably is not high in this area. I don't have the exact figure in my region, but I think if you go to the area wise, you might find the number of cases.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alam, for the update. Aliar.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Aliar, thank you. Mr. Ali has just joined us as well. Ali,
Yeah, I heard him, yes.
yeah, Mr. Ali, can you just unmute yourself so you can speak to us? Yes, Mr. Ali, what's your thought on the COVID-19 that unfortunately we are facing at this moment? What's your thought on that, please?
I think we all know this is a case we are facing. It's a very unusual and an extraordinary case challenge we are all facing across the world. We never had this type of challenge in the world actually we faced. We had pandemic before, even if we look at the Spanish flu and different types of plagues we had in different centuries, but it is not. We also have to understand the time we are living. We are living in a very peak time of globalized world. We are all connected. I mean, even if we are try to see how it has spread it. In China, in November, they had, and in December, January, we have it here in February, although sort of initiative and dialogues, we had it in March, and then in April, we are all facing it now, and rest of the world as well. So a bit of background point of view that this is a virus. It's a very, and Dr. Ali might know as well. I mean, he himself is a physician and doctor, so that is not my background. But based on the research and informations we have from online, we can see it's a very deadly virus. It is spread so fast. One of the reports I saw from my Canadian researchers that they're saying in Restaurateur, when we buy a product, and if it is on the surface of any plastic or in a box on a product, if we put it in that fridge, it may stay there up to 28 days. So we can understand what we are actually dealing with. And it is also spreading through the air as well. I mean, because it's so tiny, you need electronic microscope. And then the virus can actually stay up to 3 to 4 days, even on a surface. So this is what we are actually dealing with. And then suddenly we, in terms of the medical system, that goes not just only the medical research, but also medical equipment and medical system management. Now, if we look at even in a developed country in United Kingdom, we all know the figure was very low in terms of the ventilation. And then the government needs to take sort of initiatives to increase the number. Even in USA and many other developed countries, the number of ventilation or ventilator was actually very low. But then there is an argument why it is low, because nobody ever thought about this sort of crisis we might face in our time or in this particular technologically developed time. So it's a very puzzled. I mean, we're all puzzled and a very tight and extreme situation for all of us how to manage. But then if you look at further, you can see the whole business system across the world has collapsed. Because when we lock down, it's ultimately the whole mobilization and the whole process has been the supply chain. If we look at, if we use a bit of academic term, the supply chain management system have actually been breakdown. Now, as we're all connected, when you don't have the raw materials, or if you do not have the finished materials, then you can't sell it, or you don't get the right materials to produce, we're all connected. And even from a restaurant point of view in the catering industry, if we don't get the vegetables and fruit supply, then we cannot feed them. So it's the puzzle and it's the difficult situations we are all facing at this moment. So that is how we see the challenges in everywhere, in all sectors. And in addition to that, the front line and also from a food supply point of view, that you guys are doing a great job. So far, I heard from Shimu was trying to supply and help the NHS on a voluntary basis. We as an academia, we are also providing our academic service. We are actually spending more hours and time at home. I mean, teaching from home, because the student have more queries now. What we could explain more easily face to face. Now it's more difficult when you are offline. And the students are also stressed and many of them have also cases, then we need additional support. So you can see that it's in one game, and we don't know what to do first or this, that. But then what we all see, it is the situations we will be probably learning through the journey. I mean, there is no ultimate clear answer what you and I should do at the moment. I mean, we can only do based on our current situations on a sector by sector, dividing it and analyzing it, that what needs to be done first. But in any cases, life first. So at the moment, I think we are all trying to focus how to less spread this virus, staying at home, less engagement or involvement, but then at the same time, how we can actually decrease the mortality or increase the affinity of those who are not affected to life. So this is how we are looking at it.
Thank you, Aliar bhai. We'll come back to you. Habiba. Habiba?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Sure. We don't need to obviously just go straight to it, because obviously we already know who Habiba Chowdhury is. Habiba, can you tell us what's your thought on the COVID-19, and how much and how it affected in your work? I want to hear from you.
Sorry, you cut out. Affected in the industry?
Yes, that's right. How the industry has been affected. Obviously, we all know how it is, but I wanted to hear from you that how you're making it in your mind.
It's a very surreal and sad time at the moment in terms of what's going on. And the curry industry itself in Britain was already struggling before COVID-19 actually impacted the UK. So even prior to that, there were a lot of restaurants closing at an exponential rate on a daily basis. There were already staff shortages. Now, the staff that people have are either off trying to get better or self-isolating. So that's first and foremost, that has affected business owners across the country already. There's been a massive backlash in terms of having access to ingredients. So for those restaurants that are open, that are supporting the NHS frontline workers, key workers, who are still providing very essential food service to people, unfortunately, I feel from what I have seen, the Indian shops, the communities there, rather than support those businesses in their local area, they're hiking the prices. I myself wanted to be able to cook more as a chef and provide it to isolated, vulnerable people, but you can't do that. You're either fighting and wrestling with people in massive herds trying to get the ingredients, and you're paying 3-4 times the price. So how can a stressed out business already at the brink of collapsing, with people risking their own health, how can they then have to fight to get ingredients, cut costs, because a lot of people can't afford a lot at the moment. You know, going from the rich to low paid laborers, it's a very stringent time, because financially everyone is trying to make ends meet. Unfortunately, it has affected the industry that
live. Hi, Habiba, sorry, we had some technical issues. We're back now. Habiba, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. We're live again, so yes, please. We're at a discussion regarding the effect the industry is facing. Yes.
Well, I was just having a chat with Dr. Alam, and I completely agree. He was saying this is not the time to be making money. Those restaurants that are open, they are staying open for a reason. And other associated industries, whether that's supermarkets, whether that's cash and carries, they need to lead by example as well. This is, yes, I mean, like you were saying, Dr. Alam, there may be associated costs logistically, but the price hike started quite early on, and that was in line with the panic. We're all very aware of that, but what can be done about it now? Because there are business owners still struggling. My husband, who is a business finance broker, he's trying to help the curry industry, but it's a bit of it's a really difficult double-edged sword, because if you don't have your paperwork in order, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing the government can do. If you don't have your finances in order, that's where you're in a crisis, but that's when you can't get lending. So it's amazing that the government are helping, but how much of that help is going into the pockets of people that need to keep their livelihoods open within this industry? It's a separate question. And unfortunately, right now, I mean, the curry industry has been around in Britain for over 200 years, and each time, with each era, it's had to change. It started off as a post-pub era when people would go and drink and then go into restaurants. That changed, and it became more fine dining. It became staple part of British households. What I would like British Indian restaurant owners to think is, if you can survive this, what are the opportunities that you can take and gain a different perception? Because public perception is changing now. Confidence has gone down, and I don't think normality is going to kick off as soon as the lockdown's lifted. So restaurant owners who can survive this, just think about how you can cut back. Do you need such an elaborate menu? Can you minimize costs and increase knowledge? Because from people I teach day to day, it's the knowledge that you can impart when you're serving them, which is them coming over. If you're Bangladeshi, Bangladesh is a small country, but we have amazing regional food. You need to now, specialist Sylheti food, specialist food from the capital, and change what you're doing, because if you can survive this, you're not going to be able to survive much longer by hoping that it will go back to the way it was. The industry now changed too much. So,
if I just want to add with Habiba,
yes.
is that okay?
Okay, please.
I think Habiba is right. And one thing I would like to emphasize on that, it is true that we don't know actually when we will be going back to the normal again. The challenges we really have faced across the industry, it is a very tough question when we will be having our normal again, or when the business will be normal again. It's just the beginning, what we have just faced. And then we'll be going to and learn. But then that's why it is right that the industry leaders, I mean, I'm talking about those who are in the business, those business restaurant industry, catering industry, it is important that they need to have a new aspects, or they should look into the business from a new point of view. I mean, what is the current needs and demands looking into, because it has been operated certain way in the business, but when you have a recession, I think I can remember that in before the Olympic in 2007-8, we had a recession that has also impacted on the restaurant industry. I was actually guest speaking on a project development agency and in Croydon welfare associations where many restaurant owners were there. So, that was also at the beginning time when restaurant owners were utilizing the digital marketing approach in the business. I mean, you can imagine, Habiba, you might be seeing this as well, or observing that early 2000, the restaurant owners have actually trying to have the digital aspects in the business, having the website and apps and these. Now it's so, what is next? So that is a question for us. We might not have an answer, or we might not need an answer, but maybe this is something we need to investigate. What's next? And how do we accommodate or make an adjustment with the financial crisis or the challenges we are facing with the COVID-19? But I do also see probably, I mean, there are opportunities as well. I mean, any challenges when we go through, it is true that yes, we go through the challenge, but ultimately we all learn good things.
Absolutely.
I mean, even the government is realizing, and which I did have mentioned actually, a lot of government, especially the developed country, while the government are spending money on war weapons, on going here and there, but they have forgotten purely the basics of healthcare, prioritizing the frontline staff and healthcare systems, which is we all linked, and they are linked as well. So that is something probably the industry leaders, restaurant owners, and also those who are involved in the business, key stakeholders, I would like to say, they maybe what you need probably when after few months, when the COVID-19 is in a stable situation, when you start movement again, maybe you need to arrange some seminar, conference, or sort of get together business talk. And maybe then the key stakeholder can come up with something which will be more suitable for everyone. I mean, it is the time now not to compete, but to cooperate. So if we cooperate together, perhaps we can utilize or we can gain some competitive advantages.
100%. Thank you, Aliar bhai. Thank you.
When I come with Habiba, which is in line about the curry, I'm in a service user of the curry industry. I eat dine out almost regularly. I understand the industry is under threat. It first of all, because of the immigration issue, student, visa, they're not allowed to work. So their, staff issues was affected. Obviously, competition from other food, Turkish grill, Mediterranean grill, these are all in competition and healthy competition. That's fine, I say. So in that way, to keep the curry industry up and going, we need to improve its outlook. In terms of giving assurance to the people who are not using any chemical color or anything, it's all fruit and natural color. These are things has to be assured to the user. If we get a very unusual color, very red, very green, so that makes people think what it doesn't look right. And other things, food, and because of the few of the fatality, because of the food allergy, people are concerned about it, what it contains, whether I could die of this, any of the nuts. So we have to assure that we check every people's order separately, and we make sure that, we are not using any allergen which customer is allergic to. These are the things I would say.
Thank you, Mr. Alam. Mike, the technical.
There's some noise going on. I think.
Somewhere, yes.
Mike,
take a noise a little bit down.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay, with the technical side?
We are having technical issues. For some reason, only I am the only person at the moment that seems to be able to be heard. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
We are recording this, so we can put it on later on. We have all the sound on, but I'm not sure why there's the technical issues.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just on a live call with you about this regarding this whole situation.
If we see any of the participants,
Mr. Mike, yes, can you please, since we can hear you, why can't we? First of all, let me come to you. I was going to go to Mr. Ali, but let me just come to you regarding the current situation with the staff and the HR issues. I'm going to enlighten us with the situation. Mr. Ali,
I'm just going to. There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
Yeah.
He's unmuted himself.
Yeah, I can hear you guys now.
Yeah. Can you mute yourself? And when we come to you, you just unmute yourself. There's lots of background noise.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Yes, please. Do you, since people can hear you, do you want to just enlighten us with the furlough and the HR issues the restaurant sector will face or they are facing at this moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we know, on the 20th of March, the government announced the scheme where people can obviously claim 80% of the individual salary to try and help business at this moment in time. So that was the COVID job retention scheme. Sorry, if you bear with me 1 minute, I'm just going to try and... There we go. So I've muted. So in terms of the job retention scheme, obviously that was a process that came into force from the government and enables businesses to be able to recover up to 80%, up to a maximum of £2,500 per staff member. And obviously that only starts to kick in when people have actually been furloughed. Now, the key process around furlough, which is realistically a sabbatical, is the best way of thinking about it, because a lot of people haven't ever heard of the word furlough before. And mass amount of people were trying to look up how you actually pronounced it and were actually meant to say it, which I think was the biggest thing that came out. But I think in terms of things, the main aspect of it is people shouldn't be working at all whilst they are furloughed. They have to be furloughed for a minimum period of 3 weeks. And obviously during that period of time, they can do volunteer work. But obviously if you bring them back before then, you wouldn't be able to claim through the job retention schemes. You'd have an impact through that. But the good thing about the job retention scheme is it enables you to be able to retain your staff. It's the whole purpose of it, without looking at things like layoffs and compulsory redundancies, whereby you can still keep their wages high. And obviously, 80% is quite a large chunk of their salary, although you can also voluntarily, if you wanted to, top up the other 20%.
Okay.
I have a quick question on that, Mike.
Go on, yeah.
I have a friend who is actually, she's got furloughed. Now she would usually hit the 40, the higher tax bracket. But considering she's only going to get 80% of her pay, that then I think it drops her from that higher tax bracket. So will she get 80% of the revised lower tax bracket, or is she going to get 80% after she's been taxed that higher rate?
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of a question for an accountant, unfortunately, would be what I would say. But to the extent that I can answer that, obviously when she does drop down, if she falls below the £2,500 at that point in time, obviously the income tax and everything else will still be applicable as per that process. But obviously it works out over the course of the whole year. So we've just started a new financial year right now. So based on her earnings at the moment in time will be what her tax will be based on. So as soon as she starts pressing through that threshold, or if her salary looks like it's going to be through that threshold, then obviously that will change things. But all the income tax and national insurance contributions get deducted still as they normally would do, including pensions contributions. And of course, the 80% that the government are covering is inclusive of the employer's national insurance and also the employer's minimum kind of pensions contributions too. So the net impact realistically on businesses is quite low as long as they followed the correct process. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for that. And obviously, Mr. Ali, can you hear me?
He can, but I muted him, so he needs
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ali, thank you for joining us. Obviously, you just opened your restaurant. Not restaurant, the takeaway side today to serve the community today. Yeah, I guess.
That's right. Yes. We was actually closed, but I've had to come in due to staff shortages, and we actually not taking any online orders. Right, just a Uber Eats, everything's off, only phone orders. As you know, it's one of our Caterers Association UK's main campaign is against these online platform service providers.
Sure. Since we're on the topic, could you please, obviously we had some question regarding that, obviously Just Eat is saying that they have actually allocated £10 million towards the industry. So can you tell me how that is you're saying they're not doing the job, but they're saying they're giving.
Well, you see, they say they've allocated £10 million. Where's the £10 million? They have, yes. They're not charging new people who are joining Just Eat. They're not charging them. They've invested that. They're not putting into their partners. They've actually invested it for their own gain. They're saying new businesses come on board, no joining fee. Normally, I think they charge about £700-800 to join. They're saying no joining fees. And then also, they're saying to customers who are actually ordering via Just Eat, saying, if you come and collect a order, there'll be no fee for collection.
That's wrong.
There's usually a fee for collection. And they're saying, we're going to minus that, and we're going to deduct that. And again, whose gain is that? That's Just Eat are gaining again. So I don't see, these are just all false promises. £10 million, no joining fee, everybody. The only people who are gaining is Just Eat. We, as the restaurateurs, all our in the catering industry, restaurants, takeaways, everybody is suffering, and big fishes like Just Eat, Uber Eats are actually taking advantage of the situation.
So what you're saying is that the three things that you're mentioning, one is the new partner joining. So basically they're losing £700, but they're getting new customers for them.
Yeah, that's right, 100%.
It's a benefit to the state. It's not any benefit to the people who are already there.
It's nothing at all. I mean, they're saying there's a 0% fees for the new partner. That's for the new people who joins. Fair enough. They're acquiring new customers, so that's an advertising.
So that's what that part of the 10 million they promised, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, really and truly, it's not going to the partners. It's that they've invested in themselves.
So, okay. And the other thing, the government is saying that to stay home, and they're saying that if you come out and
they're telling customers, go out, collect your takeaway, you'll get no free charge. So there you go. They're going against the government. I mean, it's it's utterly. I mean, nothing is actually making sense. It's all.
No, I know. It's not against the government. All it is that people are not going to come out. So hence, they're not losing anything. So they're not giving theory.
I think people would come out because people are getting so sick of being at home. They're going to use any food. And I think Just Eat are not being held accountable because they're even putting that seed in your head. If you're bored and you think, oh, I'll get a delivery. Oh, yeah. Actually, we'll save a few pence or we'll save a couple of quid. Collecting food is important, so I'll just run out and I'll go get the takeaway. So without any direct impact, they're actually affecting a lot of people. And the problem is, if someone goes to pick up food from a specific restaurant, it's not Just Eat that will get done for it. It's that hardworking restaurant that will take all the liability. So I think fees aside, because money can be counted, numbers can't lie, as you know, the ones that are made official. But the social accountability that they have in terms of their promoting and they're telling people, go out of your houses, go and collect your food rather than get it delivered, that's wrong on so many levels right now. And I think that to the general public should show that you shouldn't use Just Eat if they are not going to be looking out for you as a customer and for you as a business. So I think it just...
I agree with Habiba because it's like saying to customers, we're giving you free, go out, collect it. So it's like really and truly it's going against government guidance, government saying don't go out unless it's absolutely essential. And they're saying go out, we're giving you discounts.
And I think this can put you under threat as well because you're out working to provide a service and you don't know who's coming out to pick up that food. So essentially what you're doing could affect your stuff, and it's such a massive domino effect. And I'm actually shocked that Just Eat are doing that because it's not huge public information that they are doing that. For those who are not being paid a lot or who don't have a lot of finances, they will want to save that money. If they're ordering 2-3 times a week for a big family, they will save money in the long run.
Oh, yeah,
and for them, it might be worth that risk. And that's not fair on anyone. I'm shocked.
Sure. I know. This is.
If I could just add to that, what is a lot of people have actually been hard hit by this pandemic. A lot of people out of job. They're not getting. There's hardly any income coming through. So now, for example, I'm just going to give an example as me. For example, if I was to hear somewhere there's a discount on and I haven't got any income coming in, someone say, okay, they've got a special offer on. Let's go and use these guys. So this is what Just Eat is doing. They're putting us as the business, all our staff at risk with these tricks. So it's, you know.
So that's something that basically we should, as a restaurant, should know this. I mean, obviously there's a big amount. They put it up on a frontline newspaper. 10 million is allocated for the restaurant sector, whereas by talking to you, Mr. Ali, that I can see that who's benefiting. End of the day, Just Eat
is benefiting.
In my opinion, I think they're using the COVID-19 as their advertising.
It's a cover-up.
Marketing.
The marketing tool they're using. They're trying to force. What they're saying is we've invested £10 million in our partners. But they've actually invested £10 million in themselves using COVID-19 as a cover-up to gain more customers, gain more. They're increasing the revenue. That's what it is.
One important thing is I actually agree with he and Habiba indicated. I think adding with that, it is the time we all need to work together. I mean, I can see also, even if we look at some of the retailers have also introduced a new scheme that even Amazon has now promoting, that you need to be a member of with the premier service or things like that, and then all unlimited delivery on certain period of time, and based on that you pay now. Now have a look at the situations where people are struggling. Food prices are also higher, and there are different situations. Although government have indicated some of the support, but even those peoples or many of them, to get that support, you need time. They need to apply. It's not just government is making an announcement and money will be in your bank account next day. No, it requires the time, and hundreds of thousands of people have already lost their job. I mean, based on the situations and some of the industry. We also are not looking into the small and medium-sized business, which covers more than 90% of the business, which also the catering industry belongs to that, because most of the owners of business is actually under the umbrella of SME. Now, in a country where more than 90% business organizations are under the umbrella of SME, small and medium-sized organizations, who are, having a people, let's say 3 to 10, 15, 20, or things like that. Now, a lot of them, when the productivity is less or the service is low, then they have to say no to the many workers. And then going back to the prices, it takes time. Now, hence, the big companies, some of the big retailers or even the big suppliers, they are taking an advantage of it. So I think this is not right, actually. They are not playing the social responsibility role. I mean, some of them do say we are very corporate socially responsible, but I think they are not corporate socially responsible. They are taking an advantage of the COVID-19, which is very unfortunate for all of us.
Sure. And we don't want anybody to take advantage of the situation. It's an unprecedented time that we are all facing, whereas we should be all getting together and help each other, and not take the advantage of that this unprecedented time. Thank you, Mr. Aliar. Thank you, Mr. Ali and Habiba. I want to go back to Mr. Alam, Dr. Alam.
Yes, just I want to compliment those people are providing services, curry industry, in this very difficult time. I think we must applaud for them. It is a public service you are doing, and we appreciate that. And people are, locked down. So it is the hot food reaching to their door by delivery. So I have seen my good friend, those who are working around here, I can see their effort. I think message to the public, look, we are here to provide the service for the people. We are not here to make the money. If you just meet the cost of this, expenditure, whatever you're running, that even your limited hour, limited number of days, the service should remain open. I'm not a businessman, but it's my feeling if we keep closed for our convenience, I say close the business for foreseeable time, it will be very difficult to pick up the business, once the COVID is over. So as my recommendation as a service user, keep it open, even probably just you providing the service may not be able to make the money, but providing service is important.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Alam. I want to come back to you with a question that is very much will affect, slowly started affecting people regarding people. Let's say people are used to be 12 hours, 13 hours out. Now they're in the house for 24 hours. So a lot of people, we have got calls, we have got emails and messages regarding people are getting depressed. What do you want to say to people, Dr. Alam, from your side of it, your perspective, where you're coming from, that how do we keep ourselves...
Right, you rightly mentioned it's very difficult time, as much we are socially disconnected because of the lockdown. I think in these current days, we got media, we got television, we got telephone, we got FaceTime, And also you can stay connected with the world, talking to the friend, checking with them. I was talking to one of my senior friend, with due respect, I would mention Dr. Aladdin Ahmed. He's 80 plus, he's a retired GP. He's doing with connecting with the friend, talking to them so that they feel morally up, I say. So we should speak each other, I say, your nearest, dearest friend. That's the way you stay connected. And because of this lockdown, we are confined. So in-house could be, because of this situation, we have to be tolerant to each other, family, among the family members. So not to spark with, minor things, I say, so that we don't have any argument. And as far as I heard that as we lock down, domestic violence probably on the rise, so it shouldn't be. We should be able to manage this one so that we don't engage this kind of violence with the family members. And obviously, essential travel has to be done. If you take your work ID and you're traveling to work, you're providing essential service. Even the police officer, they have a duty to stop you. I think we shouldn't take as offensive that, look, I'm this essential service provider, so I'm going to the service. I'm sure you'll be let go. And obviously, there was a discussion, as the Boris Johnson mentioned, that for 1 hour, at least for exercise. But I think because if many people gathering in one place, that where there's a risk is. So I think finding an opportunity, I think where there's less number of people, at least in an hour brief, stretch of your legs, so at least some fresh air, that's how you feel better. Otherwise, if the lockdown continue, will be psychologically low for a while, I say. So this is my feeling.
I just want to add with that, I think obviously Mr. Alam is a doctor, his advice is very valuable. But adding to that, from a family point of view, I think we may look at differently as well from a reflection point of view. I think it's an opportunity as well to stay at home, stay time with your family. I mean, especially those of you have the family member. The question is a bit tough. Those who are living alone, that is a different question. Probably that needs to be handled differently. As Dr. Alam mentioned, that we have the technology now. We will try our best to be connected with working colleagues, family, friends here and there, knowing each other. But those of you who have a family, I think to avoid domestic violence and other things, we should reflect, we should talk to our kids, our family members, listen to them, be more tolerant, and also try different things. I mean, either helping with household works, either husband, wife, family, kids, everyone should do something. If you have a garden, do explore a little bit of gardening. And a freehand exercise, we all can do at home. We don't need actually, it's the business concept. Those people are involved in gym business to sell the gym product. They will promote this. But for many years and ages, freehand exercise is always good. 10-15 minutes freehand exercise. You don't need any equipment. You can be healthy just doing 15 minutes freehand exercise.
Correct.
You don't even need to run so strongly. Just a freehand exercise, sitting on a mat or in a sitting room, that could be helpful.
Correct. On the top of that, those who are belongs to a faith, I say, practicing on faith, doing regular prayer, whatever everybody does in at home, that's the way keep their moral high and spirit high, I say. And also I suggest, if anything want to do at home, never have managed to read a book, wanted to read the books sitting at home, so finish it. Probably you might not get this kind of lockdown more. This is my feeling, I would say.
Yeah, we don't want this kind of lockdown again, but yes, this is a time to finish the books, movies.
I think it's important to not be on social media all the time and not to watch news all the time.
Yes.
I have to say I was
a very good point.
Because I scroll through social media on Facebook. I have to because it's part of my business, just to keep up with everything. But I find myself scrolling more and more, and without realizing, I've woken up positive, and there's a lot of people sharing a lot of things, fake news is a whole other topic, but there's a lot of numbers out there. Yes, it's to be made aware of what's going on, so you'd stay at home, but in the same breath, an overload of information can also instill more fear, and fear brings stress. I mean, I'm not the doctor, but Dr. Alam, I hope you'll agree that.
Yeah, you switch off your mobile for certain period, switch off your television, don't see around the clock, otherwise your mind will be not in rest. I think we need a certain amount of sleep and rest, I say. So coming to this COVID-19, I mean, my personal feeling, we thought the medical science, we developed so much, we can treat everything, so I say. And, you know, the COVID tiny virus, you know, made us on the knee, I say. You know, so much, you know, powerful. We have no knowledge how to manage this one. Obviously, those bacterial diseases or those bacteria in this world so far came, and we have the treatment, antibiotic, we know the disease process, but this is a completely unknown enemy, I would say. We don't know how to protect from them, I would say. And we, at one point, probably we've been so proud that we know a lot about medical sciences, we can treat anything, but it made us in reality that, look, we have, our knowledge is still limited, with a lot of unknown enemy probably coming or will come in future again. So we still have to continue our research and development to work for it. Sure. And it brought the people in reality to the sense, I think, humanity. There's a time we felt that we got money, we got car, different brand, new brand, these kind of things, or even the country, the nation. With due respect, all powerful nation in the world, they realize that, you know, it is not this your military might, not this your, financial might that can protect you. So we came to realize that once again, we have an opportunity to be a normal human being, respecting each other, feeling for each other, caring your family, caring your community, and caring your nation.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Alam, Habiba, and Aliar. I think to add to that, I think what we need to sort of like accept the situation where we are, and we need to accept that it will be quite a long time before we come out of this lockdown. Sooner we believe that, look, we are in lockdown and it's going to be for quite a long time. It's going to be a lot easier for us to understand and, accept it. Anyway, we are going to be finishing very shortly. In the meantime, can I ask Habiba? Habiba?
Yes.
Your thoughts. We did discuss this earlier on, the staff. I mean, obviously the owners, the restaurateur who we are, we are starting getting the grants at this moment. There's some money coming in into our accounts, just started from, I think, last Saturday onwards, 2nd of April. The grants have started. The government has said that the loan for the for any businesses, the bank cannot ask for guarantees and stuff. Slowly this will roll in. Obviously, taking some time. I want to talk to you about the staff. The staff, obviously, the people who are going on furlough and stuff like that, they will get the salary, and the salary. We had a discussion last Wednesday. It will start coming in probably June onwards. So what's your intake, and what do you understand that, what sort of problem these staff are going through?
See, the issue is that business owners have their own problems in how to survive this. I think this whole pandemic is about survival of the fittest, whether it's our own health, which we need to now focus on, going back to Dr. Alam's point that we are human, and that's what this is reminding us, that materialistic things aside, we are human. And on a business point of view, those businesses that are going to survive are the ones that actually do take care of their low paid employees. Yeah. Because one thing that we've realized as a nation and as a world is it's not the big businessmen, it's not the banks, nothing it's none of those people who are taking care of the nation. And it's the same principles that apply to your business. It is those who we thought were unskilled or who we thought were low-paid laborers. They are the people that have the courage to say, because they need it for themselves, their own livelihoods. They need to go out and work, but then they have that go-to attitude. And I think in our restaurant industry, not only has our community, I don't want to use the word belittled, but not appreciated those workers, whether they were the people who washed the dishes in the background, all the way through to the chefs. I've grown up in a world, in an industry I didn't purposefully want to enter because of the lack of acknowledgement and respect that came from that. And where the whole industry is almost coming to a standstill, I think business owners now need to drip feed that and take care of the people that are the lowest paid in their positions, because they are going to be the most financially stretched. If they can afford it, that's it. I know there's grants and furloughs. These people are not going to get furloughs. They're probably paid cash. I can't speak for everyone, but I can say the majority of people are probably paid cash in hand. They're probably not paid minimum or paid barely up to minimum wage. So
Yep.
These are people that now, as an industry, it's your responsibility to the business owners to take care of them, because when we come out of this, they are the first people you are going to need to open your business back up. Whether you're closed permanently, I think all business owners come back around to a new idea and they'll find a way to survive. You know, opportunities come from situations like this in terms of where you can change things. So not only does the industry now need to unite, I think we've been focused around glitz and glamour and winning awards and saying we're the best. One of my customers, my clients who came in for a lesson said, I walked down the high street and every restaurant has best restaurant of the year from a different award body. So it's depleted. It doesn't even mean what it should. We need to stop focusing on showing off. We need to stop focusing on even making massive profits, and we need to make sure we now work as an industry to make sure we take care of those who are at the bottom. I don't want to say in a disrespectful way, but who are trying to make their way up to the top and who are earning a living. If we can take care of them, they will in turn take care of your business, and you will come out of this better. Pay them better and look after them now. Because without them, us as business owners, we don't have much to offer.
I think, Habiba, just to that point, I think a lot has changed, and they are getting payment. Paid-wise, a lot better than what used to be 10 years ago. A lot better in looking after the current situation with the governors, the owners, and everything. They're more. It was before. It was a little bit different. I don't want to comment anything on that, but going now, I'm talking about. I know a lot of people that they do look after their stuff, and it is becoming something as a norm that everybody is doing that. I do understand where you're coming from. We want to look after our low-paid staff at this moment of time, because they'll be the one who will be suffering more. Yes, thank you, Habiba, for that.
If I could just add to a point, sorry, on that. I think one of the things I really, really fundamentally agree with Habiba on that, I think absolutely spot on the nail, is that under all of this, within all businesses, whatever your industry, there's two key things to your business. And one of those is your people, and the other one is your revenues. And without your people, you don't have any revenues. And we've come into contact with a lot of businesses, especially in the industry that you guys are talking about right now, where they do have people that are going to fall through all the gaps of this around the furlough pay, the layoffs and everything else, where they're not on the payroll, they don't have a contract, and all these other bits and pieces that are in play. They may still get really good pay off of the payroll for doing what they're doing, but they're also not self-employed, so they're not going to get benefit through there either. And I think it's now looking forward past this crisis about correcting that in all of our businesses. There's one thing that's kind of stood out for me working in HR is, for a long period of time, I've been stood on the line and going, hey, everybody, you've got to think about contracts and getting things done in the right way. It doesn't cost a lot, but it does if you don't get it wrong. Bear in mind, what we're talking about right now is actually what a legal requirement on most employers, on all employers. in the UK is to have these basics in place. So I think one thing we're learning is moving forward, that's going to be a high essential item for everybody to get into place right now, because not having written terms and conditions is just crazy.
Yeah, I know the situation is not a normal one, obviously, but obviously at this time, going back to that, as I said, like the running of the restaurant, looking after the staff, it has all changed. The young generation is coming. People are looking after the staff, obviously, and they know that staff is the core of the business. And I'm sure Mr. Ali will agree with me on that. Now the people do look after their staff.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, what is? Can I? Sorry, Dr. Yeah, carry on, Dr.
Yes, just coming back to COVID-19. It brought us such a misery, a lot of life loss, what we are facing now. And we hope we will be overcome this soon. But this COVID-19, if we leave some lesson or learning for all of us as a nation, as a country, to be prepared for such a massive level of disaster. And NHS will be much more funded in future is my expectation. So that we can manage in future like this. And also the world nations, they will work together more closely in similar situation. And that will be probably a learning or an ultimate probably achievement with a big loss, financial and life loss, obviously. So I'm sure the world will be prepared soon. And in a note, I say those who are all affected currently, wish everybody speedy recovery from COVID-19, including our Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Hope you'll get well soon and back on his office to run the country.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alam. Ali, Mr. Ali, do you want to say something about the staff? As I said, that obviously a lot has changed, and currently owners are looking after the staff and everything. Do you want to say anything on that?
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah. What it is the times have changed. We actually, the catering industry, this is a new era. I know when our forefathers, grandfathers first came to this country, they started working for other people. I mean, I recall myself as a 14-year-old boy, I started my first job when I was 14. I could see, I tell my staff, look, I couldn't sit down in a chair when I was at work. Even though there was no customers in the restaurant, I couldn't sit down, I had to stand up. Everybody had to be smart. Everything counted, but now the bosses are more, because the younger generation are coming into this trade, so they're coming in with a different view. They're coming in with a more of a wider variety of choices, where more new talents are coming in, more educated people are coming into this trade now. Before, we used to think people who work in restaurants are just, it's an unskilled job. Like now, we're key workers now. Delivery drivers are key workers now. So it's a point. So a lot of people. I have a nephew. He's a graduate, but he runs one of our restaurants. So it's really, I know a lot of graduate people are in this trade. Our food is expanding. What we are is because of our staff nowadays. Our staff. Everybody says to her, like, we've had to close a few of our restaurants, and we've had feedbacks from our staff was, look, we don't mind going to work for you. Even if the trade's not there, if you don't pay us, we'll survive a couple of weeks. It's not a problem. So the reason of them saying this is because we've treated them well. Otherwise, they would have said, we're going to get furloughed. We don't want to go work. We'll just sit at home.
Mr. Ali, I will say to this that why don't Caterers Association come up with this idea that set a date and clap for our staff?
Yeah, I think we should do that. We're clapping for NHS. Yeah. We should clap for our staff as well.
Yeah, I know. These are all essential service. You are part of the essential service. You provide food, hot food to people's doors, so it should be clapped. That is my point, I say.
If you look at it, I don't know.
I do agree with that.
All of us will come to an agreement on this, that if you look at it, there is only the industry that we're talking about is providing service to the community and the frontline staff is the Indian and the Bangladeshi restaurant sector.
Yeah.
And I think we should, from the Caterers Association, go for it. And, you know,
I think it's a very good point, Mr. Rahman. We should do something. I'm strongly up for it.
Yeah.
I would suggest not only Indian and Bangladeshi, take all this takeaway, this including, you know,
everyone as a whole.
Everyone, other organization, you communicate so that together we can clap you that you providing an essential service to all of us. I say, in fact, once it is my finish, I'll go and pick up a food. I say, wait.
I'm sure you love your food anyway. Okay, we are coming to the end now, so I'm just going to ask a brief question to everybody to conclude the program today. So I'll start with Dr. Aliar. Dr. Aliar, can you hear me?
Oh, it's Alam, you're asking me.
No,
can you hear me?
Aliar Hussain.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Okay,
so
what's your
just like to,
what's your suggestion for catering sector business leaders, the owners?
I think a couple of the suggestions what my other fellow friends here mentioned. I think one.
I think we lost you, Aliar. Aliar, can you hear us? Okay, well, we'll come back to Aliar in a bit. Habiba, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. Can you please, where obviously it's going to be a long time, but obviously we just want to know what's your advice for us, the restaurateur, going forward from now, because obviously this is something that we never faced and we don't know what's around the corner. So what do you think that the restaurateurs, the owners should do going forward, and what should they expect going forward?
Right. So I think it's right now, I was looking at the statistics before I came on here as best as I could, and curry is still the most popular cuisine that is being ordered. Curry is still the most popular cuisine that is feeding people, that is being delivered into homes. Prior to COVID-19, the market share was going down. This is why the industry was struggling, because there was more regional food, regional Thai, regional Pakistani food. Even there was a lot coming to the market. I can say for people like Ali Ahmed, who is a key worker, your community is going to be behind you and they will remember what you've done. You're not doing it for the money, you're doing it because you're a key worker. And the same goes for all restaurateurs across the country who are helping unite at this time. But I would say to those who are struggling is that they need to take this time. Cash is king, we all know that, and that is bringing a lot of stress to business owners. But putting cash and finances aside, take the time to reflect back on your business and cut back now on the things that you couldn't whilst you were actually whilst you were open. Look into your community market and actually think about what you can offer as a USP, because I mentioned this right at the beginning, but I think public confidence is going to be whilst we're going to be happy to be out, there is going to be something at the back of our minds, because we've been trapped in our homes for so long, in how comfortable are we to go out and sit in a crowded restaurant. Mm-hmm. So that's where I personally think, take time to put your chef in the spotlight. This is the person that's going to be cooking your food. People need to now know who's cooking, what are you doing in terms of hygiene when you open. You know, take pictures of your new kitchen if you're taking the time to clean it up, if you've got 5-star reviews. People need knowledge and reassurance. So not only do you need to remodel how you serve your community in terms of your menu and your food, but you also need to reflect back on what they want, because it's not just going to be the taste that they're looking for. They're going to be looking for reassurances that what have you changed in hygiene, how are you cooking your food, where are you sourcing your food, put that on your website, make that readily available so that they don't have that in their head without any unanswered questions, because that builds fear, and then fear is what will stop us from coming to your restaurants. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sorry, I was disconnected.
Yes, Aliar, can you hear me now?
My first suggestion is they should sit down.
Can you hear me now? Aliar, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
The question was, what's your suggestion for catering sector
I'd
business
like to give three
leaders?
suggestions. The first one is once it's over or gets normal, as much as it is, it goes actually, then they should sit together, all key stakeholders of the catering industry. They should have a dialogue, more brainstorming. Secondary one, I'll agree with Habiba was indicating, the digital media or digital marketing. So utilize or apply the digital marketing, digital media, digital marketing applications so that they can be more, they can gain more market share. Another one I would suggest, they can hire or they can gain some support, get some support from universities, which I see very less connection. There are many good stories, which as a British Bangladeshi, I have family friends who are running the restaurant, and they are very nice, successful story in the catering industry. And hospitality industry in Europe, in UK, and also other European countries, there are many good universities. They are also looking forward for support and stories and case studies. So that we can actually promote the catering industry by writing case study. Hence, the industry leaders of catering associations like you guys need to approach to the university and also take suggestions and consultancy approach. So probably it will give you a new direction because you have an industry expertise, but they know the market and they have a new perspective. So once you get together, you get a new product.
Yeah.
Sure.
These are the things I would like to suggest you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I will say here a hello and bye. And also finally, thank you very much everyone, and Shimu to you as well for organizing this. I think it's great effort, and also respect to all frontline staff, key workers, and also especially all those of you who are providing food in the catering sector as well. So respect to all. Thank you very much. May Allah bless.
Aliar, thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Speak to you soon then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Dr. Alam, last thought from you, please, regarding Dr. Alam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Last thought on the people who are sort of not well, who are sort of in isolation, going through depression or going towards depression, because this is going to be a big thing within the next 3-4 months. So can you please tell us a little bit that in your last thought about that, please?
Those where we are strong, we stay strong. Continue, keep connecting with the people, talking, and as you mentioned, some of these physical exercise, reading books, and if those who have beliefs or some spiritual activity, that's the way keep our moral strength is strong and high. If someone have a need, especially mental health, NHS line mental health team, they are accessible to this online by phone, so people can simply talk over the phone. That's the way they can reduce this mental depression or any kind of anxiety, I would say. And COVID-19 will not be finished quickly. It will take a quite while, I say. So we have to take a deep breath and take, and take on. We cannot probably, we're expecting overnight we'll be finishing. Even we come back to the post-COVID, I think the current industry will open again. Then not with a packed restaurant, probably some space, in between the tables. That will be my recommendation. I would say that's the way they will be starting with. We have one family, another family, a little bit distant. That's the way it should start. And in the terms of business, I'm not an expert, but I think how we prepare food in the kitchen, nice video clips, people can have a click in this computer and then say how we prepare, how we maintain our hygiene. That is very important. People see the hot food on table, but they want to know how it's prepared. So going back to the point, I think we need to stay strong, I'd say, and we need to carry on our activity.
Thank you.
Whatever we can within
Mr.
limitation.
Alam. Thank you, Mr. Alam. Dr. Alam, regards to the health, the tips about hygiene and everything. Obviously, this is very important for the food industry. Mr. Ali, or shall I come to Mike now? Mike, are you bored?
No, not at all.
Okay, Mr. Ali, can you please, obviously, your thoughts on the industry? You've already given us the thoughts. What is the Caterers Association planning or to do to help the industry, please?
Okay, the Caterers Association UK, we actually, I think I mentioned that on the last show, where we are actually running this vigorous campaign, online campaign, where we actually demanding just all online social media, all online ordering platforms, such as Just Eat, Uber Eats, Delivery. We're demanding them to charge us no fees for the next at least couple of months, because of this unprecedented time. It's very, very difficult times for all us caterers. So that's one of our main campaigns we actually running at the moment. We have actually sent out letters. We've got loads of members on board. So, if they listen to us or do something, it'll be really helpful. We also, I want to add with Habiba, Dr. Alam, what they've been saying is after this is over, after COVID-19 is over, the catering industry, the catering trade, how is everybody going to get back on the feet? My suggestion is we need to actually look at how we could minimize costs and how we could actually maximize on, profits. The way to do that is we need to minimize our menus. We can't have a very extensive menu. Okay, so now the way to do this is cut down your expensive dishes. Employ apprentices. There's 18-year-olds out there. You could contact, like I think his name was Mr. Aliar was mentioning. Contact education authorities. You could get apprentices paying them £3, £4 an hour. They don't cost an arm and a leg. So the way to move forward is at the moment in our curry industry, I think Habiba mentioned before, is we are actually paying a lot of wages to our staff. Typical chef a week is getting paid £450, £500. So we are, the thing is, the way to move forward is we need to look at how we could minimize costs and maximize on our profits. Cut down menu sizes, employ apprentices. It's a way forward. We're struggling with staff at the moment. The reason I think Mr. Dr. Alam mentioned before is immigration. Not a lot of people are coming into this country. Before there was a working visa where, now it needs to be a skilled person where sorry, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I lost you there. Yeah, skilled people, for someone to come and work in this country needs to be earning above £35,000, which we in the restaurant trade, we cannot afford to actually pay a new person coming into the country and getting paid that much. So I think the ways we need to look at is how we could actually minimize all our costs. And also, kitchen, I'm in the trade, I think Mr. Rahman, you're in the trade. We need to have 5-6 people in the kitchen. We need to see if we could get dishwashers in. If we invest, say, a couple of £1,000 in a dishwasher, we could lose one person. If we half the menu, we could lose another person. So I think it's still early days, but if you all look into it, sit together with, same-minded other business people, we could work something out, I reckon.
I think it's a really good time to start considering bringing in talented women. If you've got wife cookers at home, get your wife in. I teach so many people, and I know home food is very different from the restaurant trade. But if you're on the high street and you're all serving vindaloos and madrasa, you know, the typical things that most people are comfortable with. When I teach people, I try and tell them, move away from that, go for a chef special, which they do afterwards. Because that's why I came back to saying, educate them. When the waiter goes over, tell them how you should serve it, not how they want to serve it. They need to be, and then they enjoy it more. But I can hand on heart say, and I'm not saying it as a feminist thing, but if you've got women, if you've got wives at home who you go and eat their food, you know, you won't eat restaurant food every day, or you've got women who, like myself, have been cooking out of passion for the last 20, I'm not going to say how long, otherwise that shows my age, but get them in, you know, even if it's to prep. I wouldn't want to be there at 12 o'clock in the night, but I am happy to come in during sociable hours and help with the prep work. And the more people you can get involved like that, it's not just a male workforce. You will actually see a whole new different flavor coming and being introduced into your restaurant. Reason for people to come back in. Be the change that you want to see, and there's no better time to revamp the whole workforce than now when you're struggling. So that's my 2 pence, and I do agree with everything you said as well.
Thank you, Mike. We've got very short time. We've got about 3 minutes.
Whoa.
We touched a lot of things today, and obviously this is a little bit different. Our program was today because obviously we just want to talk about getting the loan, getting the grants and everything. Obviously, these are on the pipeline, and we did discuss about it. And we've been talking about this since 17th of March. Obviously, our program was dedicated to the people, the owners, the staff, everybody who are stuck at home, and you know how we can help them with the isolation and everything. That's why I've got Dr. Alam came in after. I mean, he was at work today. I spoke to him and he was happy to help us out. And thank you, Dr. Alam. You just left your work and you just come and joined us. I can see your still hanging. Thank you. So, Mike, final thoughts from you, please. Obviously, you will be coming back again shortly, because we'll be doing this every week. We'll be doing shows here to go through this unprecedented time together with our restaurateurs, restaurant employees, everybody. Yeah, please. So not for the final time, but for today's final hour, just tell us your thoughts, please.
Well, first of all, I mean, again, massive thank you to putting this together. I think the more and more we do this, the better we'll get with all the technical issues that we've been experiencing the past couple of times on with sound today. So but yeah, but I think in terms of based on what everyone else has already said as well, I think the first thing I would say is after winter comes the spring, and I think it's very much a thing to focus on, that things are hard and they're dark right now, and I get that and I appreciate that completely, but there is going to be a tomorrow, and tomorrow the sun will rise, and people will be able to go back, and it'll take time, but normality will come eventually, and people's businesses will be able to thrive. I think in terms of things within the hospitality sector in general, I think looking forward into the future, I think there's a few things. One is that obviously hospitality is a theatre. When people come out to go out and eat, they don't just go out for the food, they go out for the experience. And there's so much there that people need to, in their businesses, they need to be able to focus on that as to how you provide that experience. And I think at the very core of that, and I said it before, is the people within your business. And I think if you don't have a core element of people in your business that understand it, what you're meant to be trying to do, what your values are, and your principles, and everything that embodies your business, then they're never going to be able to get that culture across to the people that are coming into your restaurant. So trying to get some consistency in your staff is really, really cool. And I think that when you do get people who do come in from universities, so remembering a lot of people within the hospitality industry, they tend to be aged between 18 and 25. And one of the key things we always talk to clients about is there's a huge hidden skill set there that you're not tapping into. people that are going to university and studying accountancy, marketing, all these different bits and pieces that you can actually tap into and actually scratch their back, and they'll scratch yours too. And you get a lot more value out of those people, and they'll be a lot more sympathetic to your business. So I think more about your people. And I think, you know, please, let's get a little bit more learning from what we've gone through in terms of how you deal with your people moving forward, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I'm just going to say the final words on the program today. Especially, I want to say that obviously today's program was to do with the people, not the owners of the staff. It's just the people that we're talking about, what sort of situation, problem that we'll go through, going through what we are going through and stuff like that. So what we want to say is that thank you everyone for taking the time out and helping us with today's program. Habiba, special thanks to you. Again, we're going to see you, hopefully see you soon again. Dr. Alam, really, it's my pleasure to have you on with us today. And
my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming straight away after work. Ali, Mr. Ali, you are at work, I guess, and thank you for joining us as well. Mike,
and I think I would like to, I'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank Mike as well for arranging, putting together a wonderful program. It's really important, you know. We've got loads of people watching this program right now, and they are actually getting a lot of information. Many people don't know what's going on. They don't know the rights and the wrongs. They don't know what to do. Have fellow friends, family members in trade, catering trade. Some people are owners, some people are workers. And after watching shows like this, they get information. They know what to do. So I'd like to thank everyone who's been come on this show. Dr. Alam, Aliar, Rahman, Habiba Chowdhury, Mike Markahm, and you yourself again, Mr. Shimu, for organising a lovely program. Thank you very much.
No problem, it's my pleasure. And thank you, everyone, and hope that we can all work together to get rid of this COVID-19 situation.
Yes.
Stay home, stay safe.
Stay well and stay safe.
Stay home, stay safe, and protect the NHS.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Yes, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.